Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. It's a beautiful April morning. We had a little bit of change last night in our weather. And, well, yesterday we had snow. Hey, Smoke. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah, good puppy. This is a young dog. He's in training. He's doing a good job. He barks at anything that's different. Yeah. This is a young puppy here. The sheep are about 2 weeks from starting to lamb. Actually, less than 2 weeks. We've got them on a rotation where we're going to be on a big paddock here across the road. And there's about 20 acres, and we'll be able to strip graze them across that 20 until they get done lambing. Smoke, you got chewed on. Kind of got a little limp in that paw, but Lady put you in your place, didn't she? Lady is the one down there on that ridge barking at us. She is the head dog. She's probably 20 pounds lighter than Big Boy, but Big Boy does not mess with Lady. Lady is a beast. She's just a really agile. She's just the number one in the flock, or in the pack. The boys are going across that ridge way over yonder right now. They're going to be moving the mob. The dogs are barking at these cows. We had a couple cows in that rainstorm yesterday, or it was actually in that snowstorm. One of the calves got so cold, it was covered in snow. And normally you don't worry about snow, you know. In Missouri you can call it spring calving in April, May, but we got surprised yesterday. We had I don't ever remember getting snow this late in April, but we did yesterday. And it snowed pretty much all day until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the sun came out and the snow was gone. But it still made it miserable for the young baby calves. And so we got him up in the garage and dried him up, put him on a heater. As soon as we turned him back in mama, he started sucking. But he was just so chilled that he wouldn't suck. And so you got a calf that's just chilled like that, and they're sitting there shaking. Don't put your head in the sand and walk away from that animal. You've got to get that thing dry. And I did have a bag of colostrum. Well, I actually got the cow up and milked her a little bit and gave him some of that, which is the very best. And then at noon, I gave it just a little bit more. And then last night, when he was good and dry and the sun was out, we brought him back out here. And he just did 100 after that. So it's good to go. The sheep are looking pretty rugged with all the hair coming off. You see all the hair laying all over the pasture here. They're starting to shed. These are hair sheep. They're not wool sheep. And so they're rubbing on that dog cage. You can see that. Hey, pup, come here. Yeah, come here. Yeah, you're a good little boy. Yeah, you're a good puppy. Now you stay down. Trying to teach them that they can't jump. They can get a pet, but they can't get up on me. No, now stay down. There you go. Good boy. This is the paddock that we're on. We split this in two. We had a wire going from that autumn olive tree perpendicular across this paddock. So yesterday we gave them the lower portion of that paddock. There's about 160 head of sheep in there. And we're giving them about 2 acres every 2 days. Actually, there's more than that in this paddock. There's about 6. So they're getting 3 acres. But folks, this is some really good forage. You can see all the legumes in here. Even though they got frosted a little bit last night, they'll come back from that. It is going to slow up our grass a little bit. It hit 27 degrees last night. So put a hammer on our apples, I think. We had some apple trees that were just beautiful. Tons of blossoms on them. And I think it might have got the apple crop for this year. Because the blooms did not look very good this morning. So that's just part of it. Sometimes you skate by and don't get it. Sometimes you do get a frost. But I was going to show you over here. This is the paddock we were on before we came in the one I'm standing in. And you can see it's already growing back. It's starting to grow back. It's not grown back. It's starting. You can tell by the color of the forage over there. It's got a different color to it. That's what we left behind, folks. So if you're nubbing your pastures down on that first spring pass across your farm, it's going to cost you. Don't do that. Leave it like this. You can rotate them quicker. The grass will grow back faster. And your sheep aren't eating down on the ground. So they're not picking up the parasites that they would if you had them on a slower rotation, making them take it down to where it looks like a putting green. And, you know, it's really hard for people to get over that idea that I'm leaving grass behind, I'm wasting it. No, you're not. You're not wasting it. You're just leaving a good solar collector intact so it can do this. I mean, this grass is growing. We've only been out of here, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We've only been out of here 3 days. And it's already growing. It's starting to grow back. So I'm excited what this is going to look like when we come back here. We'll be back here in about 25 days on our current rotation. Maybe 30 because we're lambing. We're going to slow them up a little bit on the other side of the road. Won't have any choice when they're lambing. You can't just keep moving them at breakneck speed with baby lambs being born every day. So you spring on when you lamb on pasture in the spring, we normally start close to our water source, which on the other side of the road is a pond, and then we'll just start rotating in a big wagon wheel around that pond, letting them come back and get them a drink. But even with lambing, I like to give the ewes a fresh piece of grass each day. It just makes them do better. It keeps up their energy level. They milk better. The lambs do better. Everybody does better. It's just the way it works, folks. You know, if you go out in nature and look for where the deer and everything is living, you don't find a feedlot out there or an area that's just been beat to heck where they just spend all their time. The deer are moving around all the time, and all the other wildlife is too. So you don't have an area that's just beat up with animal impact constantly. This to me is just beautiful. This is capturing solar energy from the sun, converting it into lamb, and it's a good deal. It's a really good deal. We've got automollies on this farm that are an invasive, and we can go after some of those. The ones that are in the fence row there, we'll get some of them. Some of the bigger ones we'll leave just for shade and shelter. I kind of like to have both. I kind of like having shade myself, and so we like to have some shade too. This farm has got shade in every paddock pretty well. Pretty fortunate. We got lots of trees out here. And with these trees, of course, comes the shade. So if you don't have trees, when's the best time to plant a tree? Today. Don't procrastinate. Get the tree planted, and you'll be surprised. 4, 5, 6 years from now, you go back and look, and that tree's made some pretty good monumental growth. This is a tree that we will cut. This eastern red cedar. It's growing right in our fence line, and you know, the the multiple rose bushes. We've got some right here in the fence line. That's where the electricity is. The sheep don't go after those, but the ones out in the field, there aren't any. There's no multiple rose bushes left out here. There's one over here. I want to go look and see what kind of condition it's in. It looks like it's dead. So, you know, there's people that claim, you know, you can't control multiple rose bushes with animals. Well, yeah, you can. This bush here, golly, look at that. See, it's completely dead. The sheep killed it. And the argument is, well, they killed it, but it'll be back. No, it won't. Not if you got grazing animals on it. If it sticks this little head back up with a leaf on it, there's going to be a sheep nailing it. So as long as you're rotating through your pastures, you're not going to have any multifer rose bushes. Folks, this farm was covered with them. I mean, covered with them. And I didn't have a brush hog, and I didn't have a tractor. I didn't have none of that stuff. And so what do? Well, that's why I got sheep. I got sheep to control the brush. That was one of the main reasons I got them. And that and another income source on the farm. But you can control multiple rosebush with sheep. So don't let people say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's all bull malarkey. You can. And I'm almost to the adage now, or the thinking that just maybe you don't want them sheep killing all them multiple rose bushes. And you can do that too, just don't leave them there as long. Let them prune them up and then get them off of there, because multiple rose bushes are excellent feed for your animals. Sheep particularly, and goats. So if you kill them all, which I've done over the years, there's still some farms, I've got some on there, we could bring the sheep there and they'd have a heyday where we don't graze the sheep. But you know, if you don't want to kill them all, don't leave them there as long. And the multiple rose bushes would survive in a grazing system like that. But this is just a beautiful picture. I mean, every direction you look is just green fields. The sheep have already been across that. The cattle were over on those big hills. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 days ago. And we're going to be making a bull drive this morning. We're moving, I think it's around 60. We took the steers out. The steers are waiting for the cow mob now to catch up to them. And all the steers are going to the cows. That'll give us a bigger mob of, you know, one big mob. And the bulls, I think there's 55 or 60 of them in that mob. So we're going to be making that drive back to Judy Farm today. We made a big long lane. So Isaac and Ben and Connor are excited because we're going to make the longest cattle drive we've ever made. It's going from what we call docks all the way to what we call Jan's farm in one fallow swoop. We're going to be crossing, let's see, 1, 2, 3 roads. One of those is just straight across, but we're going to be going down a mile of one road and then about a half mile of another road. And we've already got the paddock set up on the far farm, and we're going to be grazing our way back with those bulls. We've got it all timed out. We're going to be moving the bulls really fast on Judy Farm to get them back over on the far end of the farms away from the cows, so that when the cow mob is ready to go to Judy Farm, there's something there to graze. So we're just going to tip it. The bulls will get fat, put on a lot of condition, just getting the very best, and we're going to move quickly. In the springtime, you know, you don't want to be grazing the plants down short. So with that, the sun's coming up. We're going to be making a cattle drive here in a little bit, or a bull drive, I guess I would say. And it's a beautiful day to be alive here in central Missouri. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Those of y'all new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out, and that like, I appreciate it, and we'll see y'all down the road.